What if the clothes we wear could talk? What if the Barong Tagalog or the Filipiniana dress could whisper the stories of our ancestors, their battles, their pride, their pain, and their dreams? Filipino fashion is more than style. It is history woven into fabric. It is the story of a people told not with words but with color, texture, and heart. Long before the Philippines became a nation, the islands were already alive with beauty and craftsmanship. Every tribe, every region had its own way of dressing. In the north, the Ifugao and Kalinga wove blankets and skirts called inabel and ikat, filled with patterns that told stories of courage and connection. Red for bravery, blue for peace, yellow for hope. Each design carried meaning, each weave a prayer. In the Visayas, the people used abaca fibers softened by hand and decorated them with shells and beads. In Mindanao, the Taboli created the tinalak, a sacred cloth believed to come from dreams. Their women, called dream weavers, said their designs were gifts from the spirits. Imagine that fashion born not just from hands, but from the soul. These early Filipinos didn't have fashion brands, but they had identity. They dressed to show who they were, where they came from, and what they believed in. Then came the 1500s and everything changed. The Spanish ships arrived. With them came religion, power, and new rules, including how people should look. The colonizers saw the locals' open clothing and called it improper. They covered what was once proudly shown. But instead of losing their identity, Filipinos adapted. They transformed foreign clothing into their own expression. Out of control came creativity. Out of pressure came pride. The women began wearing the barot saya, a blouse and skirt inspired by Spanish fashion, but made vibrant with local colors, delicate embroidery, and soft fabrics like piña. Over time, the sleeves grew into graceful butterfly wings, symbolizing the quiet strength of Filipino women. It wasn't just clothing, it was confidence, beauty, and rebellion stitched together. For the men, the Barong Tagalog became the national attire. At first, it was a simple sheer shirt worn untucked, said to show humility. But Filipinos turned it into a statement of dignity. The barong was light enough for the tropical heat, but elegant enough for any occasion. Every embroidery told of skill and heritage. It started as a symbol of restriction, but it became a symbol of freedom. During the 1800s, the country was changing. The people were learning, awakening, fighting back, and even fashion joined the revolution. The barong was no longer just a shirt, it became a uniform of national pride. Heroes wore it as they dreamed of independence. The Philippiniana became a mark of grace and resilience. The clothes themselves became quiet witnesses to a nation's awakening. Then came a new influence, the Americans. Western suits, hats, and skirts arrived. Hollywood movies introduced glamour and modern trends. Yet Filipinos didn't forget their roots. The traditional terno evolved from the barot saya, now slimmer, modern, and elegant. The butterfly sleeves stayed, fluttering like wings that refused to disappear. Designers like Ramon Valera took the terno to new heights, creating gowns that symbolized a modern, yet deeply Filipino identity. When the Philippines gained independence in 1946, fashion once again became a voice of celebration. The barong was worn by presidents, the terno by first ladies and beauty queens. These were no longer signs of colonial rule, they were symbols of national pride. The transformation was complete. What was once used to control had become a tool to express freedom. In the decades that followed, Filipino designers began to shine on the global stage. Pitoy Moreno, Ben Ferrales, and many others turned Filipino fashion into art admired around the world. They blended tradition with innovation, proving that Filipino creativity has no boundaries. Each piece they made carried the heartbeat of our culture. It said, "We are here, we are proud, and we are original." Today, a new generation is writing the next chapter of this story. Young designers from Manila to Mindanao are embracing sustainable fashion and local heritage. They're using hand-woven fabrics from remote communities and turning them into streetwear, jackets, and modern dresses. They're merging the old and the new, showing that being Filipino is timeless. On runways across the world, you'll now see barongs paired with sneakers, tribal patterns printed on hoodies, and Filipiniana-inspired gowns that move like poetry. This is not just fashion, it's a revival. It's a movement. Each thread carries the spirit of a people who have always known how to adapt and rise. And behind every design are the hands that make them, the weavers, embroiderers, and artisans who continue the traditions of their ancestors. In small villages, women still weave the same way their grandmothers did. They still mix natural dyes, spin abaca fibers, and pray before they start. Because to them, fashion is sacred work. It's not just for beauty, it's for meaning. Every finished cloth carries a blessing, a wish, a story. Filipino fashion is a bridge between past and present. It shows how we've turned colonization into creativity, struggle into style, and memory into art. It tells the world that we never lost ourselves, we simply kept evolving. When you see a barong at a wedding, a Philippiniana on a stage, or a bag made with native patterns, remember that you're not just looking at design. You're looking at centuries of resilience, identity, and pride. You're looking at the story of a people who refuse to be forgotten. And that story is still being written by the next generation of Filipinos who continue to wear their roots with pride. Because in every piece of fabric, there's history. In every pattern, there's faith. And in every thread, there's the unbreakable spirit of the Philippines. Filipino fashion tells us that innovation doesn't mean letting go of tradition. It means letting it shine brighter. It reminds us that beauty is not just in what we wear, but in the stories behind it. And it teaches us that our culture, just like our fashion, will always adapt, endure, and inspire. So the next time you wear something Filipino, wear it proudly. You are not just dressing up, you are carrying the story of generations. If this story inspired you, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more stories that celebrate faith, culture, and resilience. Like this video, share it with someone who loves Filipino creativity, and together, let's keep our heritage alive, one stitch, one story, one proud heart at a time.